Hello everyone, welcome to CVT Concept. I am Vishnu Mohan Pathak, your guide and mentor for CVT PG English Exam 2026, and we are here with a special video on the previous year question of 2023, specifically the one conducted on the 30th of June as far as I know. And while we have to discuss the paper, there are a few more things that we can discuss before we actually start. So at CVT Concept, we have a few things. For example, a number of good courses, and the courses and the course on English has been completed. Basically, we have completed the static course of English literature, that is for your CVT PG exam, and one wonderful offer is being given by CVT Concept at the moment. ये 2699 जो आपको दिख रहा है, ये अभी प्राइस नहीं है. यू कैन बाय इट फॉर 1499. तो ऑलमोस्ट कितना 1200 रुपए के आसपास का, 1100-1200 रुपए के आसपास का डिस्काउंट है आपका. तो 1499 पे करेंटली अवेलेबल है. और आप लोग कांटेक्ट करें ऑफिस के नंबर्स पे, करेंटली अवेलेबल. सो ये मैं उस पर भी लिख देता हूँ, और बाकी सारे सब्जेक्ट्स के लिए भी आप लोग कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. ये नंबर है जहां से आपको फर्दर डिटेल्स मिलेंगे, हाउ टू बाय द कोर्स. एंड द फर्स्ट स्टेप इज टू डाउनलोड द CVT Concept ऐप. कमिंग टू द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन पेपर विच इज ऑफ 2023, it was conducted in the shift 2 on 30th of June 2023. ठीक है. So my analysis of this paper is that there were a few questions which we can say were a bit tougher for the students of English literature, but it is also to be noted that a lot of these questions didn't really matter in the cutoff. So for the 2022 batch, things were directly from one or two books. For the 2023 batch, let me just put my other device on silent mode so that we don't get disturbed in between. So in the 2023 batch, I think the cutoffs went down, and it wasn't a big problem, although there were a few questions that you might find hard, right? And I myself found them to be hard for the level of CVT PG English exam. But then you always have 3 to 4 questions in every single exam that you can categorize as tough or hard, whatever. मतलब when you look at the difficulty levels. तो अभी एक बात ये है कि हमारे पास हम जो कोर्स दे रहे हैं, see, my purpose is not to sell the course here, but to make you aware about what is happening in this industry, कोचिंग इंडस्ट्री. क्या है कि भाई हम किस दुनिया भर के कोर्सेज हैं, दुनिया भर के प्राइसेस हैं, बट एक बहुत ही अफोर्डेबल प्राइस पे आपको कंप्लीट कवरेज ऑफ सिलेबस मिलेगा. एंड हर एक सब्जेक्ट, उसके बाद आपको करना क्या, सिंपली आपको 30 डेज में आप वो सारे वीडियोस देख लेंगे. अगर आप 2-3 आवर्स पर डे देंगे तो आपने आप सारे वीडियोस देख लेंगे. यू विल बी प्रोवाइडेड विद द PPTs दैट आई यूज इन द क्लासरूम. एंड उसके अलावा भी आपके पास मॉक टेस्ट होंगे, ढेर सारे क्वालिटी मॉक टेस्ट, फुल लेंथ मॉक टेस्ट एंड ऑल दैट. सो फॉर द टाइम बिंग लेट्स बिगिन आवर डिस्कशन, क्योंकि आप लोगों को लगेगा कि बहुत टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है, पर दीज आर ऑल्सो इसेंशियल्स ऑफ डिस्कशन. सो टॉक्सोफिलस, when I was discussing Renaissance for my paid course batch, I specifically talked about a person called Roger. Let me shift it to this thing, Roger Ascham. ठीक है. So although I am directly answering the question, see, if you look at if you watch my videos of the 2022 PYQ and the 2025 PYQ, these are also important videos. Why? Because I have taken a lot of time and I have devoted a lot of time to these videos, specifically to make you aware about the techniques that you can use in these questions. You can use these techniques to derive or to find out the sources of these questions. Moreover, you can also predict the nature of questions that will be coming in the future. So for the time being, let's focus on the question again. Toxophilus was, in author's own words, written in the English tongue for the Englishman. Who is the author? See, Toxophilus was written by Roger Ascham. He was also a teacher sort of person. Okay, and this is the first book on archery. So basically, it's one of those books where you get some instructions. It was quite influential, and again, this is just for the sake of confusion. All that you need to know is Toxophilus was written by Roger Ascham and not by these people. Thomas More wrote the Utopia, Skeltonic verses we have discussed. His verses in our paid course, and William Tyndale and his Bible has also been discussed. So Roger Ascham's this book, which is this Toxophilus, it was written in the year 1545. This is also important. It is in the form of dialogue. Okay. So what happens in most of the books of history of English literature, this author is ignored. Ascham is ignored, but there are books that actually talk of him, like when you look at, I think, David Deutsch's his book on history of English literature, and the book of Leguy and Kazamian. It's a book by Leguy and Kazamian. They had some French origins as well, and that book is no longer available in the mass market format. But when I was teaching my course, I used that book, these two books, to also refer to things. And see, मुझे भी नहीं पता था, मैं 2023 का पेपर देखा भी नहीं बहुत टाइम से, बट ये चीज है कि आप प्रेडिक्ट करते कि क्या हो सकता है, क्या आ सकता है. Who introduced the term stream of consciousness? Those who are a part of my paid course, they already know that I have talked of stream of consciousness in detail in my 9th video on the modern age. So it's not that difficult. It was by William James. Some of you might get confused between these two names, Henry James and William James. हेनरी जेम्स जो नॉवेल लिख रहे थे, जिस पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ लेडी एंड अदर्स, उनसे इनको कंफ्यूज मत कीजिएगा. ब्रदर हैं, एंड ही इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इट इन हिज 1890 बुक. दिस वाज रिटन इन 1890, द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी. द प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ साइकोलॉजी. फाइन. Fine. See, James Joyce used this stream of technique. The right answer is William James. James Joyce used the technique of stream of consciousness, but he did not coin the term. Again, the same thing goes with Virginia Woolf. She used it, but she did not coin the term. And Samuel Richardson was too old to experiment with stream of consciousness, which is putting down your thoughts on the paper as they appear. So basically, the character's mind is revealed on the paper, in the text. जैसे कुछ भी बोला, कुछ भी कनेक्ट किया, रैंडम बातें जिस तरह हम सोचते हैं, अभी हम सोच रहे हैं मोटो से जाएंगे, अभी हम सोच रहे हैं हम आलू खाएंगे. These are random connections, and these connections are portrayed on the paper in the form of stream of consciousness. So into how many parts is the essay tradition and individual talent divided? So if you try to trace the nature of this question, if you try to trace why NTA asked such a question, back then the new NEP syllabus was not implemented in most of the universities, and in all other universities in previous form of BA, whatever the traditional BA as I call it, it's not so traditional, but still let's call it the traditional BA, 3-year BA. So in the 3-year BA program, in BHU, in DU, in several other places, this essay tradition and individual talent by T.S. Eliot was prescribed, right? And that is why its 3 parts were taught in these courses. So source, if you ask me the source, every BA syllabus back then, ठीक है, every BA syllabus 2023, जैसे BHU का ही आप उठा लीजिए, मैं BHU से पढ़ा हूँ इसलिए मुझे BHU का मालूम है, ठीक है, बट there were other universities as well that did talk about this essay. So 3 parts where he talks about the individual talent, how tradition is important, where the author has also to be, where the author is supposed to be aware of the pastness of the past but also of its presence, and he should also be aware, he should also be connected with the future. Moreover, the placement of an author in a tradition is a bifold और इज अ टू वे कनेक्शन. तो वो हम अभी ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं दूसरे वीडियोस में, एंड इट्स ऑल्सो ऑन द कोर्स इन डिटेल, सो आई डोंट वांट टू गो इनटू दैट मच ऑफ डिटेल नाउ. सो जॉन बन्यंस द पिलग्रिम्स प्रोग्रेस इज एन एग्जांपल ऑफ पिलग्रिम्स प्रोग्रेस. आप इफ यू वॉच माय वीडियो ऑन यूट्यूब इटसेल्फ फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट, नथिंग इन द पेड कोर्स, सो उसको छोड़िए, आप फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मेरे सीयूईटी कॉन्सेप्ट चैनल पे, सीयूईटी कॉन्सेप्ट पे इफ यू watch my video which is on this video is on literary terms, and it is the part 1 where I discuss allegory, where there is a second level of signification in any work. So the primary level discusses one thing and the secondary level, so on primary surface level you find that some story is written and this and that, but it refers to something else when you discuss the secondary level. So it is allegory, the Pilgrim's Progress. This is not that difficult to remember. It was in the year 1678 and it's one of the most famous examples of the category of allegory. And you have characters like the evangelist or Christian. So these are abstract characters. So again, it is a part of allegory of ideas. Allegory of ideas. It is not a part of political or historical allegory, which includes, for example, that Dryden's work, जिसको M.H. Abrams में भी दिया गया. So यहां मैं हर एक का जल्दी से कोशिश करता हूं कि सोर्स लिख दूं. तो सोर्स में अगर हम बात करें तो इसमें M.H. Abrams ही इसका सोर्स लेके चलता है, ठीक है. सो M.H. Abrams allegory, यही मैं बोलूंगा, ठीक है. आपको allegory देखनी होगी. This is an advice for every student who is trying to appear in this exam and who wants to appear in this exam, that you have to read M.H. Abrams at least 5 to 7 times before you actually sit in the exam. You have enough time, and this is not the time to fall asleep in the metaphorical sense, that you have to put a lot of effort to read these works. M.H. Abrams or P.K. Nair or Beginning Theory, whichever you prefer, and works on criticism on Indian literature, and several others that I have already told you about in my videos on in my video on this selection of books. तो आपको ये जरूर पढ़ना है, ठीक है. In which year was the first Nobel Prize in Literature awarded? You have to remember these random things, which is you have to remember the year's Nobel Prize winners and in which year some famous author got it and so on. So this is purely based on your memory. याद करिए, कुछ mnemonics बनाइए. It depends on you. 1901 was the year when the first Nobel Prize was given, and there was this person called Sully Prudhomme. I don't know if I'm pronouncing the correct name correctly or not, but he was a French poet. Fine. So this was the first Nobel Prize. But you also have to remember that some famous authors also got these Nobel Prizes. So for example, Rudyard Kipling, who wrote the work Kim, got it in the year 1907, and in 1913 Rabindranath Tagore was awarded. So you might get a question on Gitanjali, okay? So you might get a question on Gitanjali, in which year Rabindranath Tagore was awarded the Nobel Prize. So these are hints. For example, in 1923 W.B. Yeats won the Nobel Prize. Okay. So they in the future years, 2023 के पेपर वालों को नहीं पता था that in the future years they will also get similar questions. So I think W.B. Yeats's question was repeated, or the option was repeated in 2025 if I'm not wrong. Similarly, you got a question on William Golding, on T.S. Eliot, and every other famous author who got the Nobel Prize, who won the Nobel Prize, becomes a part of the the questions, right? This is, I think, one of the easiest questions of this this whole paper, where you don't have to think a lot. Dr. Faustus is by Marlowe, Julius Caesar is by Shakespeare, and this Defense of Poesy, Sir Philip Sidney. I discussed this work in Defense of Poesy, or the Defense of Poesy, very recently. I think there was a class about criticism a few days back on the in the paid course, where we discussed him. So you can match. This is up to you to find the correct matchings, like A2. So A2, so A2 is in only one case. It's pretty much easy to remember. Now, Preface to Lyrical Ballads was first published in 1791. Statement 1 says, Preface to Lyrical Ballads. Point to be noted that they are talking about the preface to lyrical ballads and not the lyrical ballads. You know that the lyrical ballads were published in 1798. That is a fact. But when you include the word preface, it was published in the year 1800. So statement 1 becomes wrong automatically. Statement 1 is incorrect. But are both statements incorrect? That we have to see. Preface to Lyrical Ballads is the unacknowledged manifesto of the Romantic movement. The questionable word is unacknowledged. If you look at formal discussions, you don't call something as the manifesto of declared manifesto of the Romantic movement, because when the Romantics were writing, they did not know that they are a part of, quote unquote, the Romantic movement. They they didn't get the information about this thing, something called a Romantic movement. These terms were coined later on. So for the time being, the term unacknowledged fits here. So statement 2 is correct, which means statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct, right? And now the sex which is not one, the newly born women. See, all of you, those who have watched my video on feminism, or those who have not watched, basically whether you are a part of my course or not, if you have read even a little bit about these theories, you know that the easiest match here is A Mad Woman in the Attic by Sandra Gilbert and Susan Guba. But the problem is the sex which is not one. ये भी जिसने मेरे साथ पढ़ा है उसको तो मालूम है, बाकी जिसने पीके नायर पढ़ा है, बिगिनिंग थियरी पढ़ा है, सबको मालूम है कि दिस इज बाय लुइस इरिगेरे. So there are two people whom we have already identified, ठीक है, and now the newly born woman is by Helen Sixtus, but there is another author who has contributed to this work, and I think her name is not given. And when you look at On Lies, Secrets and Silence, it is by Edwin Rich. So we have figured out A2 is in two cases, and C1 is confirmed. So, see, C1 is confirmed. So A2 and so the newly born women by Helen Sixtus, which is B4. A2 B4 means third, right? If you want, I can also tell you the years of publication of these works. So I think Sex, which is not one, came in the year 1985. Mad Woman came in 79, and this work by this Secrets, this one was published in 1979 as well. This was also published in 1979, and then I think Newly Born was in 1986. You can check these timelines. Sometimes they ask the chronological questions based on these timelines, so it can happen. Now again, an easy question, which is, when I started my videos on history of English literature, there were two videos on the outline of history of English literature. So if you remember, 1300 to 1400 was the age of Chaucer. When I try to solve a question, I try to solve it as quickly as possible. The key is to save your time as well in your exam. So 1340 to 1400, the age of Chaucer. If you know this fact, so D2, you immediately figure out that there could be two options have been eliminated, D2, D2, right? Now, if you don't know anything else, at least remember Milton, Wordsworth. You know, say you do not know what is the Augustan age. Let's say you did not know about Augustan age or the age of Samuel Johnson. Let's say you did not know the categorizations of the neoclassical age. If you have not watched my videos on the outline of history of English literature, but you know for sure that Milton was writing in between this time 30 to 60 1667, which work was published. So sometimes this becomes easier. Then age of Wordsworth. Wordsworth was writing between 1798 to 1838. 1798 is the preface to Lyrical Ballads. So B3. Now you just have to find that B3 is matching, D2 is matching. The game comes to whom? So the game becomes more complicated now. Age of Milton, this is this. अब आपको समझ में आ गया कि you are left with C1, so it cannot be repeated. So this is the correct option. And the Augustan age obviously was 1700 to 1745, and the age of sensibility, or sometimes people call it the age of Johnson, followed the Augustan age. तो ऑप्शन क्लियर हो जाता है. आई जस्ट वॉन्ट यू टू गो थ्रू क्विक मेथड्स. इफ यू रिमेंबर, ओके दिस सही आ गया, क्योंकि समटाइम्स ऑफ कोर्स यू शुड सेव सम टाइम टू रिव्यू दीज क्वेश्चंस इफ यू फील, बट you also have to be quick so that you don't waste a lot of time on easy questions. So who amongst the following is not a part of the group of the university wits? It's again an easy question. It's not that difficult to solve. You already know William Shakespeare was not a part of the university wits. In fact, we are not sure if Shakespeare completed his university education or not. But then Marlowe, Greene and Peele and Thomas Lodge, I think Greene and Peele and Marlowe have been mentioned. एक नाम मैं बाद में लिख दूंगा, Thomas Kidd, ठीक है, and then John Lilly. Lilly इसकी स्पेलिंग है Lyly, but we read it as John Lilly. And Greene has been told, Peele, Marlowe, Lodge, Nash. So Nash is the only one who is left here, Lodge, Nash. And so Kidd is considered, but he did not get education from either Cambridge or the university cities of Cambridge or Oxford. Cities, and these are also universities that still exist. So Renaissance के opening video में मैंने ये पढ़ाया है in my course. Beowulf is also foundational. If you look at my video on the outline of history of English literature, which is a very simple video in 2 parts, you can get the names of all important authors there. Of course, there could be more, but then for that you can join the course. 1500 रुपए बहुत कम है. Beowulf is a work of, you know that it is a work of poetry. It's almost an epic. जितना हमारे पास है उससे हम उसको epic declare कर सकते हैं, ठीक है. It's the earliest known work here in English literature. Earliest known this big work, and again the surviving fragments are this academics is the surviving fragment, but then in terms of the epic, Lucifer is a character in which of the following works? See, in Dr. Faustus he is featured, in Paradise Lost he is featured, in Fairy Queen he is featured. But the Jew of Malta does not discuss anything like Lucifer. For example, in this work he is referred to as Lucifera. So the question becomes complicated. Paradise Lost में Lucifer है, ठीक है, but exact terminology कहना, जैसे कई बार क्या होता है कि you can't find the exact terminology. अगर एक ही पूछता तो Paradise Lost में भी लगा देना, लोग सही समझते. डॉक्टर फॉस्टस में भी लूसीफर है, तो मुझे लगता है कि इसमें ऑप्शंस मल्टीपल रहे होंगे. आई थिंक ये जो चीज़ है उसको हटा दिया गया। और मल्टीपल ऑप्शन तो सारे डाल दीजिए, इसमें से कोई प्रायोरिटी डालनी होगी तो अलग बात है। जू ऑफ माल्टा इसमें बस नहीं होगा, ठीक है। तो अगर मल्टीपल ऑप्शन नहीं है तो पैराडाइज लगा दीजिए। आई थिंक इस क्वेश्चन को और कंसिडर किया जा सकता था उस वाले को। नाउ एक और इजी क्वेश्चन है जिसको आप लोग सब सिंपल जब कोलरिज का देखेंगे बायोग्राफी लिटरेचर, ठीक है, इसमें आपको ज्यादा देखना है। सैमुअल जॉनसन लाइव्स ऑफ द पोर्ट्स, 2 सॉर्टेड, गोल्डस्मिथ का विकार ऑफ द वेकफील्ड और हेनरी फील्डिंग का टॉम जोन्स। जिसको बेसिक्स भी मालूम है, जो मेरे आउटलाइन वाला वीडियो भी देख लेगा वो भी ये हल करके जाएगा, उसके तो ये उसी वीडियो से हो जाएगा, ठीक है। तो अभी ये आप मैच कर लीजिए, गोल्डस्मिथ A4 है, A4 कहीं है, एक ही जगह है, तो कहीं दिक्कत ही नहीं है। C3 देखिए, C3 का केस क्या है, C3 भी एक ही केस में है। कितना आसान था, कोलरिज बायोग्राफी और C3 सॉल्व, ठीक है। हमने तो सिर्फ बताने के लिए बता दिया, अदरवाइज पेपर में आप इस तरीके के अप्रोचेज अपनाएं, जो आपको आता है पहले उसको मिला के देखिए कि हिट कर जा रहा है, ठीक है, आगे बढ़िए, टाइम बचाइए। विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज नॉट अ राइटर फ्रॉम द रेनेसांस पीरियड? विलियम शेक्सपियर वॉज, जॉन डन वॉज, Wordsworth was not, and Christopher Marlowe. So the correct answer is C. Here we are not discussing, so we are looking at the correct answer. So he was a part of the Romantic period, and this is not a difficult question. I think it's also one of those easy questions of this paper. You will always get at least 20 questions that you can solve within a few seconds. Let's say you will spend only 10 to 12 seconds on reading the question, checking whether they have used the word not or not. ठीक है, not or not, I mean that you have to identify this कि not है कि नहीं है, ठीक है। Now this is again I don't think this would be a difficult question for anybody who has looked, at least who had a glance at the syllabus of BA back then. Of course I don't exactly know the NEP syllabus, so those of you who are looking at it currently, they are advised to go through the history of English literature properly. I don't know that that these poems have been retained in syllabi of universities or not, but you can check at least the syllabi of 5 universities. That I have been saying in every YouTube video, in every video in my class. You have to see the syllabi of different universities. For example, the University of Lucknow, Allahabad University, University of Rajasthan, Delhi University, Banaras Hindu University. So you'll get to know about a lot of these works that are prescribed in the syllabus of in the syllabi of different universities. So PB, let's begin with Browning, or the easiest. Okay, easiest would be Arnold's Doverbridge, D3. Okay, so D3 we have figured out. Okay, PB Shelley. Of course, this might be difficult for some people, but I think Browning's My Last Duchess was also prescribed back then. So A2, D3, A2 is sorted, and B1 means Keats's Ode to, again, this is also extremely easy. B1 means John Keats's Ode to Nightingale, and B1 is in only case. So basically this was an extremely easy question. Ode to Nightingale is so B1 is in only one option. So this was again very easy during this must have been easy for all the candidates during the exam. So Prometheus Unbound, I have taught about all these works, all these poems or plays. But what is the function of drama according to Dryden? See, in fact in my video on criticism, videos on criticism, you cannot teach criticism in a single video, but there you see that his primary focus is on delight and instruction. So basically your primary purpose is to, so basically you're through drama you're also giving some delight to the audience, but you are also instructing the audience. Instruction means a sort of teaching. So it's not simply about morality. Like earlier there was a stress on morality. For example, Plato is saying that poets are not moral, right? So this is a move away from that strict perspective. Rather it is basically saying to use both, to give both delight and instruction. Who wrote our sweetest songs are those that tell of saddest thoughts. To a skylark, if you don't know these famous quotations, then it would be a problem. Which amongst the following works has not been written by T.S. Eliot? That is a good question, but again, T.S. Eliot has been prescribed in the syllabi of all universities. You cannot ignore T.S. Eliot and his works. Okay? So the Cocktail Party, I think it was first performed in 1948, but it published in the year 1950. Murder in the Cathedral, I have been talking about this work a lot. In the UGC NET exam of January 2026, basically December 2025 cycle, they asked a quotation from this work, Murder in the Cathedral. Okay, and they asked it to arrange chronologically. So you have to know a lot of things. Now, The Wasteland, anybody who knows, जैसे मैं यहाँ लिख देता हूँ एलियट। आप इंग्लिश लिटरेचर थोड़ा भी जानते हैं तो आपको जानना ही होगा कि वेस्टलैंड किसकी पोम है। अगर आपको ये नहीं पता है तब तो बड़ी भारी समस्या है, तब आप तैयारी में बहुत पीछे हैं, और अगर बहुत पीछे हैं तो तब तो दिक्कत होगी। ये जो बुक है बॉय विद द क्राउड, ये भी 1950 में आई थी एंड इट इज बाय क्रिस्टोफर फ्राई। ठीक है, आप इस बुक के बारे में रूटलेज हिस्ट्री ऑफ इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में देख सकते हैं। आई थिंक इसके बारे में रूटलेज में लिखा हुआ है, अगर मुझे गलत नहीं लग रहा हो तो। ठीक है, which one of the following is not a mythological retelling? Retelling, what is a retelling? Where you tell the story but in a slightly altered way. Basically, you use the myth but you offer some new perspective. So, Oath of Vayuputras, I think those people who are interested in popular fiction might be knowing that it is by Amish Tripathi. So, Amish Tripathi has written this Palace of Illusions. चित्रा बैनर्जी देवकरुणी। ठीक है, इनका आप जब भी अमेजॉन खोलिए, बुक सर्च कीजिए, आपको सबसे पहले आएगा पैलेस ऑफ इल्यूजन्स का, जिसके पैलेस ऑफ इल्यूजन्स में आपको आई थिंक जो फ्रंट कवर भी लगा हुआ है वो सिटी पैलेस जयपुर का लगा हुआ है। तो यू विल गेट दिस इज अ मैथोलॉजिकल रिटेलिंग। अगेन, नागमंडला इज ऑल्सो इट इज बाय Karnad and it is also mythological retelling. ठीक है, कर्नाड का है, गिरीश कर्नाड का। एंड वैनिटी फेयर बाय दिस इज द करेक्ट ऑप्शन। अगर आपको इनका पता है तो फिर चीजें सॉर्टेड हैं। विलियम मेक पीस ठाकरे। ठीक है, ठाकरे, इस टर्म पे मैंने अपना जब डिस्कशन चल रहा था, मेरी क्लास में जब डिस्कशन चल रहा था तो मैंने बताया, आई थिंक ही वाज बोर्न इन कैलकाटा इटसेल्फ, आई थिंक सो, क्योंकि वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स रिसेंटली विजिटेड हिज हाउस, आई थिंक ही वाज बोर्न इन Calcutta. English August and Indian Story is a famous novel written by. See, in such questions, you sometimes get confused. The primary reason for confusions that Vikram Seth is a famous author, Raja Rao is a famous author. Sometimes these things confuse you students, and obviously this I would call a tough question, because Upmanyu Chatterjee is not somebody who is primarily taught in the famous in the syllabi of all the famous universities. Famous as in those universities which are most often sought after. So Chatterjee is not that famous, but again Upmanyu Chatterjee wrote it, and it's a work that was published in the year 1988. Again, it is a satirical novel. ठीक है, it is a satirical novel and it is based on the story of a civil servant. ठीक है, तो I think sometimes people suggest a few things, जैसे contextual है, उस समय न्यूज में क्या था, उस समय क्या बातें चल रही थी, सिविल सर्विसेज के अराउंड कोई बात चल रही हो। अगेन एंड अगेन दिस इज अ Bildungsroman. ठीक है, Bildungsroman जो हमने अभी शायद कल ही के वीडियो में कहीं कुछ बात कर रहे थे, हम कोर्स में, अच्छा उस कोर्स में बात कर रहे थे। तो Bildungsroman was being discussed in the actual course, in the paid course, where we however, I have discussed it at least 10 times so far, where you trace the development of a character. Künstler Roma is the development of tracing the development of the author or an artist. The first Indian novel, Rajmohan's Wife. I have been telling this again and again, and I think it was also a part of 2022 PYQ. It just gets repeated every year. So Bankim Chand Chatterjee or Chattopadhyay, and it came in the year 1864. Matangini is the eponymous character here, eponymous protagonist. Okay. Eponymous is a term that I have explained at least 10 to 20 times, even on YouTube, I think. So it basically refers to if you are a character and the novel is based on your name, the term for the same thing is eponymous. So what, again, this is another easy question. What was the original name of Munshi Premchand? And I have been telling you so far that you have to read Hindi literature, Tamil literature, a few works of Malayalam literature as well, at least classicals and a few famous ones, right? So Hindi, and just go through the Wikipedia pages of all these languages. We have 22 scheduled languages in the 8th schedule of Indian Constitution. So Munshi Premchand was originally Dhanpat Rai Srivastava. This could be a question, I think students from South India or from distant parts of say Northeast India might not be knowing this fact. I am not assuming that my video is being watched by a person from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar or Uttarakhand only, or surrounding Hindi belt only. It could this could be a question, difficult question for those who do not know Hindi literature that much, if they are appearing in the same exam. So Dhanpat Rai Srivastava, Munshi Premchand, he died. He has written a lot of works, Godan Gavan, Nirmala, and their Seva Sadan. I have read almost everything that he has written. But again, this might not be as universal as we think, right? Some people might not be knowing about his real name. So A Bend in the Ganges is written by, this is something that I have also taught in my course. It's by Manohar Malgaonkar. I think it came in the year 1964, right? So Manohar Malgaonkar is there was one story on princes that he has written and so on. So this is quite famous work. It has been repeated by NTA in several exams. So please know that something like this exists. Mohan Rakesh's Aadhe Adhure. You get facts here. क्या? Mohan Rakesh has written Aadhe Adhure. आपको fact भी याद रखना है. Mohan Rakesh was a famous playwright. So like there's another work by him, आषाढ़ का एक दिन. ठीक है? You have to know about these works. It is about the middle class. ठीक है? So you will think, why are they asking these questions? Primarily because your syllabus says, CUET, PG, English syllabus says, the syllabus says that you have to know about Indian literatures in translation or Indian literatures as a whole. So this S means that you have to know about all the literatures, right? It will take some time. Who was the first recipient of the Saraswati Samman? Harivansh Rai Bachchan. These are all facts, but then you have to know. Again, if you look at the famous 20-30 famous writers of Hindi literature, Harivansh Rai Bachchan is one of them. He has written several famous poems, and basically when he received this Saraswati Samman, it was about his biographies, his autobiography, and he has written several such works. I think I remember some of his poems, like हम लोग के एक आत्मकथा करके एक पोम थी जो प्रेस्क्राइब की गई थी CBSE द्वारा. तो बहुत सी चीज़ें हैं. बच्चन साहब हैज़ written a lot of things, and one of the poems that used to inspire me back in class 6th or 7th was पूर्व चलने के बटोही बाट का निर्माण. And then Madhushala and other famous works are of course in the list, and they might ask a question on Madhushala. Who knows? ठीक है? So you never know. And he has written as an autobiography, as in need का निर्माण इसी तरीके से उसका टाइटल है कुछ, अभी मैं भूल रहा हूँ, ठीक है. आई हैव सीन दैट वर्क, फिजिकल कॉपी ऑफ दैट वर्क BHU की लाइब्रेरी में रखी हुई है. हु रोट द प्रीफेस टू मुल्क राज आनंद्स अनटचेबल. अगेन इफ यू हैड रेड द सिलेबस ऑफ एनी ऑफ दीज यूनिवर्सिटीज, तो उस समय अनटचेबल वाज प्रिस्क्राइब्ड. आई डोंट नो द करंट स्टेटस बट इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड 1935 में आया एंड इट वाज द प्रीफेस वाज रिटन बाय E.M. Foster, राइट. इट इज अबाउट द बाखा, a day in the life of, it is about a day in the life of Bakha, and is one of the community members of of the untouchable, quote unquote untouchable castes. So again, after we got our constitution, untouchability was abolished as a system, but people who were in the profession of cleaning toilets and all, so some of these communities were considered untouchable, right? So this discrimination and the atrocities, all these are discussed in this work. So for the time being, we won't venture into the details, because I think this is a work that most of you are familiar with. So who among the following has based a substantial part of his work on the partition and related issues? Okay, Ghalib was born long before India and Pakistan were divided. Okay, so Ghalib cannot be an option. Mohan Rakesh, again philosophical, middle class and all that issue. Faiz Ahmad Faiz, I think he was a supporter of partition. I think he was a supporter of partition because the correct answer, Saadat Hasan Manto, protested or opposed his ideas. Faiz's ideas were opposed by Manto. In fact, there are a few terms that I know of that Manto used for Faiz. I won't discuss them here. But Manto's Toba Tek Singh is a very, very prominent, Toba Tek Singh, it's a very prominent, very interesting work. You must all read it. बहुत छोटा है, बहुत powerful work है. And then you can also look at Thanda Gosht, right? These are very good examples of his partition works. And again, Saadat Hasan Manto was put on trial for writing obscene things. Okay, and there is also a film titled Manto. I think Rajkumar Rao portrayed his character, and there was this statement, जो चीज जैसी है उसे वैसे ही पेश क्यों न किया जाए. There was this dialogue. ठीक है. अफसाना निगारी, he has written a lot about अफसाना निगारी, where you write how मैं अफसाना क्यों लिखता हूँ. एक बहुत अच्छा उनका ऐसे है, मैं अफसाने क्यों लिखता हूँ. Which Indian novelist has written The Cat and Shakespeare? Again, easy question. Raja Rao, right? We'll switch to other questions which relatively need more length of discussion. ठीक है. Gender is a what? Imposed division of sexes. Is it biological? When you look at this term, sex is biological. The term sex is biological, but gender is a social construct. So you do not decide that I will be called female by all, or I will be considered female if you are a male. The problem is, one, your biological sex is already decided. Okay, it could be anything that your biology decided. But when it comes to gender means the social perspectives on this thing called sex. How society has given certain rules, and those rules have to be performed by people belonging to a particular sex. For example, females. So women have to go through something. That Simone de Beauvoir says that one is not born a woman but becomes one. So this gender is the category that makes them the quote unquote woman. So it's a social thing. Why is it not a cultural thing? Obviously, culture again participates in the same idea, but it is primarily social because there's no specific culture that defines gender. Gender by and large is a whole thing, a societal thing. ठीक है, तो gender ये हो गया. We have already also discussed this term in detail when I was discussing the theories. If you have bought my course, can refer to them, or if you are reading any book. I am nobody to say that I am Sarve Sarva, whatever I say is absolutely perfect and this is what NTA will catch and put in the examination. I am not so. ये किताब से पढ़ी है भाई, हमने तो किताब से पढ़ा है, लेकिन आपके लिए इजी चीजें हैं. मैंने आपके लिए जितना मैं अपने लिए पढ़ा हूं उससे ज्यादा आपके लिए पढ़ के मैं आप वो चीज प्रेजेंट करने वाला हूं या किया है. सो द टेक्निक ऑफ डीफेमिलियराइजेशन इज टू मेक डीफेमिलियराइजेशन. फेमिलियराइजेशन क्या हुआ, छोड़िए, कुछ नहीं आता आपको, मानते कुछ नहीं आता. लेट्स सी familiarization, you make something familiar. Defamiliarization, you make something which is familiar to you unfamiliar. Familiar things unfamiliar, जो आप जानते हैं उसको unfamiliar कर देना, आप उसको पहचानने से मना कर दिए. So विक्टर स्लोवस्की जो रशियन फॉर्मलिज्म के बारे में जिन्होंने काफी कुछ लिख रखा है, ठीक है, या विक्टर, इनकी स्पेलिंग थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लमेटिक हो सकती है. स्लोवस्की, इनका स्पेलिंग मुझे बहुत ही टेंशन दे देता है. इनका रशियन फॉर्मलिज्म में इनका है कि मेकिंग फैमिलियर थिंग्स अनफैमिलियर. तो ऐसे आइडियाज को एपिक थिंग्स लाइक एपिक थिएटर बाय बर्टोल्ट ब्रेक्ट आल्सो यूज्ड. व्हेन यू सी समथिंग दैट यू आर फैमिलियर विद, you know what is happening, but then the presentation in such a manner is like this manner would make you feel that you are not connected with that thing, right? So this is such a manner. Fine. Again, coming to 31st, Russian formalism, new criticism, feminist criticism, new historicism. I think if you refer to M.H. Abrams, distinctly remember this page number, I don't know why, but if you refer to page number 402, I think of the 11th edition में 402 number पे है. Somehow I remember it because we had a question on this chronology back when we were in B. So it's quite easy to know in that case. So in that distinction, you'll get formalism as 1920s to 30s, A3. So you have sorted options. Now, new criticism का उस पेज नंबर पे 1940s लिखा है, तो A3 and B4. So option is clear, but criticism and the term that is used by M.H. Abrams is modern forms of feminist criticism. ठीक है, so again one and the new historicism and there are other theories, cultural materialism, several others have been placed in 1980s. Like if you look at 1990s, they say eco-criticism is in 1990s, eco-criticism, right? So the phase dissociation of sensibility, I made a video on dissociation of sensibility terms. I think part one or these two videos, it must be in one of these because it began ABCD, so it must be either in the part 1 or part 2. It's on YouTube and the in the metaphysical world 1921 easy question. This is a term prescribed in your syllabus. ठीक है, syllabus में सीधा बोला है, अगर आप syllabus भी नहीं देख के गए तो क्या देखा, right? So this is a term, again you can solve this question. M.H. Abrams, मैं sources का भी लेके चलता रहता हूँ. You can solve this question if you read M.H. Abrams. And recently, like 3 or 4 days ago, those of you who are a part of my course, आपको याद है मैंने palimpsest पे proper discussion किया था अभी. तो ऐसा random ही है, लेकिन ठीक है, palimpsest आप theoretically भी देखेंगे, palimpsest and theory. And when you look at entry on books have evolved in M.H. Abrams. तो palimpsest, palindrome भी आई थिंक पैलिंड्रोम जो है वो उसका पहला ही एंट्री है पी का, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, हो सकता है उसका पहले ही एंट्री हो। तो ये वही है मलयालम, of course in English as well. There's a madam, and there could be whole phrases. Our job is not to discuss them. Palimpsest, again this same thing, the written surface of a parchment which is scraped off to use for a new text. जैसे मान लीजिए let's say my tablet is इस साइड से कर दो, let's say मैंने इस पे कुछ लिखा, ठीक है, and then I erased it and then I wrote it again. Eraser means you go through something, you scrap it off because it is made up of leather or something else. So you scrap it off to erase the actual surface and to write something else over it. So if you look at it through ultrasound, or I don't know, ultrasound, or there's another method to look at it. So I don't know, ultraviolet rays or ultrasound, there's something that can be used to read the text that was written earlier. तो ये बात उसमें लिखी हुई है एम एच अब्राहम्स में, read to know more. Panegyric is basically opposition in prose or public speech which is an elaborate praise of a person, where तारीफ है, सिंपली किसी की तारीफ करें तो पैनेजेरिक हो जाता है. And palinode is again a poem in which the poet renounces an earlier poem. जैसे मान लीजिए मैंने आपसे कहा 10 days ago I said that let's say 10 days ago I said that Bankim Chand Chattopadhyay didn't write Rajmohan's wife, ठीक है, in 1864. Now 10 days later in another book that I have written, let's say I'm too fast to write 2 books in this span of 20 days. So I wrote another book and I'm saying that no, I was wrong. So this, I renounced my factual thing, like I discarded my own idea. So I think if you look at Chaucer's work, for example, the Canterbury Tales, there are some ideas that he टेक्निकली रिनाउंसेस. सो पैलिनोड ऐसी चीज है. मैं अपनी पुरानी बात को कह रहा हूँ, नहीं मेरी बात वो सही नहीं थी, अब मैं फिर से बता रहा हूँ. अब मैं बता रहा हूँ कि राजमोहन वाइफ बंकिम चंद्र चट्टोपाध्याय नहीं लिखी थी, ठीक है. तो अरेंज इट, आई वुडंट एंगेज इन अरेंजिंग द करेक्ट आंसर्स, ठीक. This could be a tough question for those who have not read M.H. Abrams, those who have not read linguistics in their syllabi. So this could be a problem for some of you, and again, it won't be a problem if if you have read about stress at least. A2, stress is the relative loudness of a component element in an utterance. किसी पर कितना स्ट्रेस किए, जैसे कि रिकॉर्ड, ठीक है. जब आप रिकॉर्ड बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, सो यू आर स्ट्रेसिंग हियर. recorded, it means it is a verb, and when you are saying it as a noun, when you say that it's a noun, then you say record. Present it to the president, let's say. Present when you are talking of a gift, but present it, so the stress changes to sent. It's relative loudness, whether you are saying प्र ज्यादा तेज या सेंट ज्यादा तेज या प्रेजेंट ज्यादा तेज, जेंट, right? So this is about stress. Then if you have read physics or biology up to the age of, or up to the 10th class, which you all must have read, you already know that pitch is quite easy, the variation in the rise and fall of the voice in course of an utterance. Let's give a speech. Friends, Romans and countrymen, lend me your ears. You see, कभी मैं धीरे बोलता हूँ, कभी तेज बोलता हूँ. मार्क एंटनी की स्पीच जो है, so A to B C3, if you simply arrange A to C3, this is only case where you can figure out. Intonation means, what is the time? I'm going home. So whether it is a falling intonation, आप फॉल कर रहा है, फॉलिंग और राइजिंग, क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं तो इट यूजुअली राइज. व्हाट he died, or when it's a falling intonation, oh I'm too tired. So you close with the falling intonation, ठीक है. देन जंक्चर का सीन ये है कि अटरेंस के बीच में थोड़ा बहुत एक ट्रांजिशन होता रहता है, ठीक है. एडजेसेंट स्पीचेज हैं उनमें इस तरीके का, कभी आप नीचे गए तो वो जंक्चर्स होते हैं बीच बीच में जहां पे आप कनेक्ट कराते हैं ऐसे ऊंचे ऊंचे और नीचे नीचे चीजों को, ठीक है, नीचे इंटोनेशंस को. तो प्राइमरली आपके 3 सेट हो गए, तो आप ऐसे भी कर लेंगे. ये सब लिंग्विस्टिक्स के टर्म्स हैं और मैं बहुत परेशान हूं करेंटली विद माई with my mic. Now, blank verse, dramatic monologue, sonnet, and elegy. These are the terms prescribed in a syllabus. If you commit a mistake here, then again, ये तो बहुत heavy पड़ेगा. Wherever you see 14 lines, it's sonnet. 14 lines simple, ठीक है. 14 lines तो आपको सीधा समझ में आ गया. C2 is too stupid of question, but C2 easy question, not stupid to be honest. So now you have a fixed question. If you just look at blank verse now, whether A ka 4 or A ka 1, a lyric poem uttered by a speaker to a listener, thereby revealing their own character. This could only be possible in a dramatic monologue, and the purpose of a dramatic monologue is to reveal the character. Whereas dramatic monologue, acha, problem kya hai? Dramatic monologue is in the form of a poem, and sometimes monologues are spoken in dramatic performances. The opposite case happens. So there the purpose is not primarily to reveal the character of the speaker, right? So dramatic monologue reveals. So B1, let's place B1. B1 is in only this option. ठीक है, B1. Sorry. Wait. I erased something more than it was needed. Okay. So B1 is in only one option here. So you solved it. Monologue is this, sonnet is this one, and then this D3 हो गया. Lament, which is crying over something, lament over something, death of a person. Elegy you already know, and monologue we have connected, blank verse, sonnet we have connected, and where is this thing? Unrhymed iambic pentameter lines in a poem, right? Blank verse is unrhymed. The anti-mask was a form developed by Ben Jonson. See, he also wrote masks. Masks were elegant performances. They had a lot of grandeur. They had a lot of investment, and they were primarily done in private form. Ben Jonson जान लीजिए बहुत है, ज़्यादा डिटेल में जाने की कोई ज़रूरत है नहीं. Folklore, myths, archetype, and fairy tales. These are all things we have discussed, I think, when we were discussing Northrop Frye, and these questions keep repeating themselves. So archetype is a question that you already know, that these are the recurrent themes, actions, and types of characters. This is a term that I have been telling you all along. So recurrent themes, say a hero comes who saves the world. ऐसी चीजें archetypes in human. So in humans there are a few things that keep repeating through myths, through stories, and all that. So archetype C1. You already know the answer, but let's say you discuss folk tales, okay, and then study in system of hereditary story of ancient origin assigned to a particular cultural group, and stories of various fairy tales becomes the stories of various kinds of marvel. Fairy tale में क्या होता है, कोई ऐसी चीज होती है जो दुनिया में हुई नहीं रहती है. So it's D2, and then when you look at folklore, this is the verbal composition, sayings and rituals. फोकलोर क्या होता है, जो आपके समाज में आपने सुन के कहीं से पाया है. ओरली इट इज जनरली पास्ड टू अदर जनरेशंस ओरली. Myths, a story in a system of hereditary story of ancient origin assigned to a particular cultural group. For example, there is a myth. Let's say there is a myth of a particular kind of a goddess. We call it a myth because we do not know exactly. Myth is a negative term as well, but when it comes to culture, these myths are the ideas that we have created for ourselves. These myths guide our ways. These myths become our principles. For example, worshipping a goddess is equivalent to worshipping a woman. So basically, women have to be respected. This is the idea that culture forwards through one of its myths. Okay? So again, this is not that difficult to figure out. given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion A and the other is labeled as reason R. So Elizabethan age is regarded as the golden age of English literature, right? Queen Elizabeth ruled English. Okay, so both. Okay, correct explanation of A. Second one is the correct answer. I won't take another second to discuss easy questions. इसको golden age of English literature कहा जाता है. मैं पढ़ा चुका हूँ, मैंने ज़्यादातर किताबों में लिखा हुआ देखा है. So why would I bother discussing something like this? Both the monologue and the soliloquy are the same and can be used interchangeably. And the reason says that there's a difference between the monologue and so on. Okay. So both the monologue and the soliloquy are the same thing and is not the correct idea to say. See, in the case of a monologue, it is an intended speaker, intended listener. Usually we keep the element of an intended listener, whereas soliloquies can also be private, right? So this is a major difference. Obviously they are at times used interchangeably, but they are not the same. They are used interchangeably, but they are not the same, right? A soliloquy is also a monologue, but all monologues are not soliloquies. You got it? सभी soliloquies monologue हैं, पर सभी monologue soliloquy नहीं है. This is the syllogism question, right? So again, the former is a lengthy speech by one individual to others. So you say here that which is that reason is true, A is false, but reason is true. Fourth option, right? Then we'll come to folio, quarto, octavo, and duodecimo, which I have also discussed in my course when we discussed first folio of Shakespeare. Let me quickly check if we have a page here, and it will make the make things easy for you all, right? Okay, let me check if we have a page here or not. Okay, so we have one of my papers here with me. I'll not show you the questions exactly, but we have one of my papers here. So if this is a normal sheet of paper and if we fold it like this, right? So what it becomes? It becomes a folio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? It becomes a folio. If we fold it further, 1, 2, 3, 4 ऐसे बढ़ता जाता है. ठीक है? Similarly, किसी तरीके से ये 12 भी करते हैं. तो सबसे पहला क्या है कि duodecimo का मतलब है कि 12 ऐसे करे कि इसको 12 तरीके से पढ़ा जा सकता है. So जितना ही छोटा, मतलब जितना ही ज्यादा ये नंबर होगा उतना ही छोटा होता जाएगा. सो मोस्ट ऑफ आवर बुक्स आर लाइक फोलियो. आप आज की जो किताबें पढ़ते हैं, दे आर क्वाइट सिमिलर टू द फोलियो. ठीक है? सो दिस इज क्वाइट इजी टू नो दैट duodecimo means 12 leaves. These are called leaves. Each side is called a leaf. So D4 is available as an option only in these two cases. And then now you come to octavo, which is 8 pieces, right? So C2, D4 C2 is available here only. Okay, and folio, because I don't like to read all this. 4 leaves, 8 leaves, folded once. फोलियो को एक बार फोल्ड किया जाता है और क्वार्टो को 4 लीव्स बनाया जाता है. ठीक है? नाउ द ऑप्शन इज क्वाइट क्लियर. So we don't have to bother that much, but ठीक है. Its source. Wait. I think I made a mistake by clicking the plus option. ठीक है? Now folio की बात हो रही थी. ठीक है? folio की and 1623 शेक्सपियर का. What I wanted to say here is that it's in M.H. Abrams. It is in M.H. Abrams. It's a part of M.H. Abrams. Fine. Includes words arranged in metrical pattern, often using. अरे भाई, ये तो सबसे सिंपल है कि ये पोइट्री में ही तो मेट्रिकल पैटर्न इस तरीके का देखने को मिलता है. ये तो बहुत आसान क्वेश्चन हो जाएगा. एंड ऑल्सो रिमेंबर दैट द जॉनरा ऑफ पोइट्री, द टर्म पोइट्री एंड इट्स डेफिनेशंस आर इंक्लूडेड इन योर सिलेबस. डायरेक्ट LAQ PU 01 के सिलेबस में डायरेक्ट टर्म यूज किया गया. सो यू हैव टू नो again it's not an option. Langland's P.S. Plowman is again an example of allegorical poem. Back then we are talking about William Langland. Okay, William Langland, and if I'm not wrong, in my paid course, I don't know भैया कहाँ पे क्या है, लेकिन paid course में it's मिडिल इंग्लिश पीरियड में I think it's in video 1 on Middle English where you can find a discussion on P.S. Plowman. ठीक है, ये ड्रीम पोम वाली चीज है, ड्रीम सीक्वेंस वाली पोम है, ड्रीम में लोग लिख रहे हैं उस तरह के. Graveyard poets is a term applied to. Now, I don't know if the term was exactly used. Here, mortality would also have been a good term to use, right? Mortality. Again, it's not 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th. so सीधा सिंपल बात है, आप हमको 18th सेंचुरी दे रहे हैं. रीजन है कि आप 1751 में you find in 1751 this poem by Gray, an elegy written in a country churchyard. ठीक है, in a country churchyard. So they also talked about mortality, death. They were occupied with death. 1751 is 18th century. Like 2025 क्या है, 21st century. Similarly, हर ईयर जो है, अब आपको बस ये याद हो तो काम हो जाएगा. And there are other poets like, there were poets like Parnell, Thomas Parnell, Edward Young. ठीक है, so the graveyard poets के ऊपर please look at 2025 PYQ. I think I have discussed them in detail, and if not, भाई जो मेरे कोर्स में है they can obviously look at it. ठीक है, ये this is by Thomas Gray. Like the most important person in this series is Thomas Gray, and Edward Young wrote Night Thoughts, and Parnell का जैसा A Night Piece on Death. So these people talked about human condition and death and mortality and all this. Night Piece on Death. The curfew bell tolls इस तरीके का इसमें है, ग्रे वाले में है. Which of the following groups of words are related to each other? Now this could be an easy question, but again the way it has been presented, it could be tough for some students. Crime fiction, murder mystery, detective and police novel. They are all the same species. So we have found our correct option. Let's look at others. Practical, theoretical, new criticism, culture studies. यहाँ तो थोड़ा बहुत संबंध है, but a theoretical criticism can mean anything. Cultural studies has an altogether different approach from new criticism and practical criticism. Those were focused on what is written in the text. Culture studies has more to do with the culture, what is not written in the text exactly, and how our culture forms, how there are various social factors working and engaging to form a particular either a myth in the society, a particular system in the society. So it's also wrong. Deconstruction and structuralism, these are opposite things. It's a part of post structuralism. मेरा वीडियो याद है आप लोगों को पोस्ट, अच्छा मतलब जिन्होंने जो कोर्स के पार्ट है उनको याद होगा कि deconstruction कहाँ पढ़ाया गया है. And much ado about nothing. If this term had been replaced by NTA with works, then it would have been much better. But because these works are related to each other in the sense that they are by Shakespeare, but then Julius Caesar is not Love's Labour's Lost. So this is not a comedy, this is not a comedy, historical play. So these are also not connected in a sense. ठीक है? So autobiography, generalized, again, I discussed it in the genre video, which is the last, one of the last videos of our course. So it's quite fresh in my mind as well. हालांकि तो कोई भी समझ जाएगा. So hagiographies are on, again you will find it in M.H. Abrams, and your syllabus also says that you have to read life writings, right? Life writings, which include diary, memoir, diary, memoir, autobiography and so on. Memoir की अभी बात करता हूं मैं. Hagiography is basically the deeds of a Christian saint. Autobiography, I think you all know that it is a first person account of all the notable moments and monuments in a person's life. Diary is a day-to-day record of everyday events and or events in one's life. And autobiography is a biography written by the subject themselves, because you have an option. A first person account of notable, when you talk of only notable monuments, something that happened notably, it is a memoir. जैसे आप मान लीजिए कि मैं गया था धोनी से मिलने, मैं नहीं गया था, let's say you met धोनी, so it becomes that. And diary, hagiography को हमने क्यों ऐसा किया है? ऐसा किया, diary is a day to day record. So I didn't see this option, मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं. A biography written by the subject themselves, so it's autobiography. A2, B3, A2 is B3. Okay, it goes on this C4 here. The fourth one is the correct one. Now arrange the following in a chronological order. This could be a difficult question for some of you, although it's not that easy not that difficult for you to handle. क्योंकि देखिए, when you talk of classical, something classical, right? तो classical क्या होता है? Something that happened long ago. ठीक है? Shakespearean tragedy and medieval tragedy. क्या शेक्सपियर से पहले medieval tragedy नहीं आएगी? क्या शेक्सपियर से पहले medieval लोग नहीं आएंगे? तो all you have, bourgeois tragedy, पहले की सोर्स देखते हैं. सोर्स है, सोर्स जो है ट्रेजेडी टर्म जो है इन M.H. अब्राम्स. अब आप देखिए अब्राम्स कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है, and I have been saying it so far again and again. It's also in my video, ठीक है, my video on tragedy which is on YouTube पे लिटरेरी टर्म्स में पार्ट 5 और 6 का होगा, ठीक है, उसमें होगा ये वीडियो. और इसमें मैंने बोर्जुआ ट्रेजेडी के बारे में बात की. तो इन एनी केस क्रोनोलॉजिकल ऑर्डर का कौन पहले आया कौन नहीं पहले आया, ठीक है. तो नाउ वेट, विच विल कम फर्स्ट? क्लासिकल. सी से कहां शुरू हो रहा है? एक और एक, ठीक है. क्लासिकल मतलब जो सबसे पहले लिखा, सेनेका ने लिख दिया. मान लीजिए सेनेका ने कोई रिवेंज उस तरीके का ट्रेजेडी सॉर्ट ऑफ लिखा, ठीक है, सेनेकन ट्रेजेडीज मान लीजिए, या सोफोकलीज की ट्रेजेडीज. सो क्लासिकल ट्रेजेडी बिकम्स ऑन सी. देन क्लासिकल के बाद ही मेडिवल आएगा, तो सी डी दो इन बोथ केसेस. मेडिवल के बाद आएंगे शेक्सपियर, क्योंकि बुर्जुआ और दिस कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ डोमेस्टिक ट्रेजेडी कुड नॉट हैव एग्जिस्टेड व्हेन वी डिड नॉट हैव द आइडिया ऑफ समथिंग कॉल्ड अ मिडिल क्लास. Middle class, poor class, this class distinction was not there. So CDBA, ठीक है. This is the famous essay, The Politics of Translation. Now here we come to a concept called translation, right? You all must be aware, and it is a source. क्या है क्वेश्चन का सोर्स क्या है, मैं ये लिख दे रहा हूँ. ट्रांसलेशन जो है ये आपके सिलेबस में है, and that is why these people have asked. But there is a decline in the questions on translation. This is also important. You don't need to remember all the theories of translation. These are questions that you might get confused with. You might not be able to solve some of them, right? So please know that some of them can be difficult, but I have the course includes a PDF of the important concepts of translation. They are explained in easy language. There will be I'll provide you with more PDFs as well, and then if possible we'll take a class on YouTube on translation, so that it becomes easier for everybody. And because I'm also a scholar of the field of translation, so I'll be interested more in it. So it is an essay by Gayatri Chakrabarty Spivak, and you don't need to know all that, पर ठीक है फिलहाल के लिए गायत्री चक्रवर्ती. यूजीन नीडा was an Italian, Mahasweta Devi and Josephine Balmer, they are not not people whom you think of. And then untranslatability is a possibility in cultural. देखिए ड्रामा प्रोग्रामर और प्रोज को कर सकते हैं कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट. जैसे मान लीजिए, जैसे मैं बोलूँ कि there is a term I'm using something like something which is an abusive term maybe. So मान लीजिए कोई टर्म है, जैसे बोलते हैं कि भोजपुरी में बोलते हैं मुंह फुकौना. ठीक है, मुंह फुकौना इज अ टर्म जो किसी को बोलते, मैंने बेसिकली उसको बोलते हैं कि अरे ये तो इट्स बेसिकली ही इज बर्निंग हिज फेस. कैन यू ट्रांसलेट इट? इट्स अ कल्चरल कॉन्टेक्स्ट. ठीक है, तो आप इस ऐसे खराब टर्म्स को यू कैन नॉट ट्रांसलेट. देन देयर कुड बी टर्म्स लाइक, जैसे मान लीजिए कुछ ऐसा आपके कल्चर में हो, जैसे अब हम लिख रहे हैं, कुछ लोग बोलते हैं कि आइए चलिए भोज लपेट के आते हैं. जब आप ऐसी चीजें ट्रांसलेट करते हैं, भोज कहीं लगा हुआ है, आप लपेटने गए, ऐसा when you look at these terms which you hear in everyday conversations, so it becomes difficult for you to translate cultural context. So sometimes untranslatability, it is a possibility. Although grammar, prose and drama can be translated, drama also is being translated, so it should not be a big question, right? So now coming to another translation question, J.C. Catford. I would say that this is a difficult question. And it should not have been asked by NTA. फालतू क्वेश्चन है, ठीक है, फालतू क्वेश्चन है. एंड आई वुड नॉट से that NTA did justice, although somebody who has read translation, and that is why I say there are 2 books on translation. You can refer to either of them. Jeremy Munde की there is a book, ठीक है, and there is a book by translation studies by Suzanne Bassnett. Suzanne Bassnett is one of the most famous contributors to the field of translation studies. Bassnett, ठीक है, इनका एक है, आप इसमें से पढ़ेंगे तो आपको पता चल जाएगा. Again, the problem is I cannot really tell you what these things are. There is something called a level shift, ठीक है, and there is something called a category shift. मैं थोड़ा सा easily कोशिश करूंगा आपको बताने की, if you can understand, because you do not have enough examples to prove what are these things. जैसे Spanish versus English. Spanish or the better method would be to use English versus Spanish, right? This is an example through which I can explain you the level shifts. For example, the biggest house. The biggest house is a term where you see this superlative, ठीक है, you see this superlative degree. आप लोग ग्रामर में ये सब बहुत साल पहले पढ़े होंगे. सुपरलेटिव डिग्री ये है, when you look at Spanish, this becomes la plus grande maison, ठीक है. सो यहां हुआ क्या, ये जो वर्ड है ना, दिस इज अ वर्ड विच इज अ लेक्सिकल वर्ड है, ठीक है. लेक्सिकल और फंक्शनल वर्ड्स आर डिफरेंट. अब हम आपको लिंग्विस्टिक्स में और ट्रांसलेशन में जब ले जाएंगे तो बड़ी प्रॉब्लम होगी, बट लेक्सिकल वर्ड होता है, जैसे मान लीजिए जो आपके वोकैबुलरी में है, देन दे आर कनेक्टिंग वर्ड्स, एंड और उसका कोई एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है, दे आर ओनली यूजफुल व्हेन यू से देम इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट ऑफ समथिंग, ठीक है. So lexical words have their own meanings. जैसे there could be a lexical word like let's say a pen, P-E-N. It is a lexical word, ठीक है. There could be a noun, ठीक, इस तरीके के वर्ड. तो यहाँ biggest एक superlative जो है वो क्या हुआ, तो इसमें भी जो est है ना, this is est, this suffix, let me use another color. So this suffix यहाँ पे est था और यहाँ पे ये became a lexical word. ये suffix हुआ करता था, इज्जत नहीं थी. est का क्या मतलब होता है, कुछ नहीं, वो तो suffix है, वो किसी की डिग्री बनाता है. But then when you translate it, it becomes a level shift. And in this case of category shifts, which are again category shift again are of 4 types. ये आपके लिए काम का नहीं है, बट कैटेगरी शिफ्ट क्या होता है कि फॉर एग्जाम्पल ग्रामेटिकल स्ट्रक्चर चेंज हो जाता है, ठीक है, ग्रामेटिकल स्ट्रक्चर चेंज हो जाता है व्हेन यू ट्रांसलेट समथिंग, ग्रामेटिकल स्ट्रक्चर चेंज हो जाता है, एंड देयर आर अदर चेंजेस एज वेल। फॉर एग्जांपल आपके काम करने रैंक शिफ्ट होता है, बहुत सी चीज़ें होती है जो मैं समझाऊंगा तो बहुत समय लग जाएगा, हम इसीलिए इन सब को, इस क्वेश्चन को मैं डिफिकल्ट कैटेगरी में रखता हूँ, एंड देयर आर सेवरल शिफ्ट, आपको समझ में आ जाएगा। मुंशी प्रेमचंद्स गोदान हैज बीन ट्रांसलेटेड इनटू इंग्लिश बाय P. Lal. His full name was Purushottam Lal. These were the first translators of Godan. P. Lal and Jay Ratan. ठीक है, Jay. These were, and P. Lal also wrote a lot of, also translated a lot of works. He was quite a famous translator back then. I think he had translated hundreds of works. Although you do not care कि भाई ये चीज़ें हैं, and he also theorized a few things. When you go to your master's degree, when you start pursuing your master's degree, Jayaratan and Purushottam Lal will become important, and its translation. I'll come to this. Gordon C. Rodelmer, I have the copy of its translation. मेरे पास मेरे घर में है. It's I think it's a gift. The gift of a cow. Sorry, the gift of a cow. This is a translation, and I think it was again capitals use करने पड़ेंगे ना. UNESCO, it was by UNESCO. It was funded project, and a gift of a cow. The gift of a cow was translated, and he used the notes of. We don't often look at it. Notes of Aggeya, Satchidanand Hiranand Vatsyayan Aggeya. Never believe that these people translated everything on their own. ठीक है? And there was another translation by Anurag Yadav in 2009, and it has retained a lot of Hindi words. So both 1 and 2 is the correct option again. And there have been other translations. There was some translator called Arvind, I think, if I'm not wrong, or maybe it was Anurag, whose name I might be confusing with. But there have been at least 4 or 5 major translations. In translation, SLTL, this is the basic concept: source language and target language. Source language, for example, Hindi to English. ठीक है, Hindi to English. Let's say. So source, यहाँ लिखते हैं source, target language जो है जहाँ आप translate करना चाहते हैं, and so on. E-creature feminism is a term derived from the writings of Helen Sixtus. For example, the laugh of Medusa 75, right? This is a term I have explained in my discussions on feminism in detail. So did I skip a question or what? No. The term world literature, ये तो पढ़ते ही समझ में आता है. It's the term means world literature. ठीक है, world literature. This was given by Johann Wolfgang von, और लोग उसको गोटे भी पढ़ते हैं. ठीक है, his works, he was a part of. अब आप देखिए 2025 PYQ में क्या हो जाता है क्वेश्चन, आप इसी तरीके से ट्रेस करते हैं. How do you trace whether something is important and will get repeated? This is a term coined by him, right? But this, where does it lead us to? It leads us to question of the previous question of 2025, where they have asked Sturm und Drang. I have also taught this in my course. Sturm und Drang means storm and stress. Storm and stress. This was a German proto-romantic movement, and about it they had asked, its chronology they had asked. So Goethe's work, it was always influential, and then I think he wrote it in 1827 in one of his essays, and these are other people. आपको पता है जैसे Schlegel or Schelling, these were also famous people. But again, you must be, and this is something that I have also taught when I was discussing world literatures. So the principle behind all art is imitation. Okay, the principle behind all art is magnification. You know that imitation जरूरी होता है. If you want to produce something, it's usually imitation. But magnification means कोई जरूरी थोड़ी कि all art needs magnification. कोई चीज को बड़ा बना के दिखाना जरूरी थोड़ी है. This is wrong. So statement 1 is correct. Statement 2 is incorrect. We'll quickly move to further questions. Dryden's thesis of dramatic poesy. English plays को Neander defend करता है. Who is Dryden himself? And when I was teaching Dryden in my course, and when we were solving question paper of 2022, I said, and I hadn't looked at these papers. मैं बात क्या कह रहा हूँ? Go through these options. जैसे Dryden is defending English poem, ठीक है? Critias is defending the ancients. Lycidas is for the French people, and modern drama. ठीक है, मॉडर्न ड्रामा ऑफ ऑल कंट्री. तो यू नो कि भाई इनका ये सीन है. एंड दिस केम इन 1668. द क्वेश्चन इज प्रिपेयर्ड, फ्यूचर क्वेश्चंस आर प्रिपेयर्ड. बहुत ज्यादा पूछ लेगा तो यही पूछेगा. अब इनका लिसिडियस यूजेनियस असली में कौन लोग थे वो तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि पूछेगा. ठीक है. हु फर्स्ट ऑब्जेक्टेड टू वर्ड्सवर्थ्स थ्योरी ऑफ लैंग्वेज? दिस अगेन आई हैव टॉट इन माय कोर्स व्हिच इज बाय S.T. Coleridge. S.T. Coleridge was the first person to protest against the idea of Wordsworth, where he said that the language of poetry and language of prose are similar. This is not so. Consider the following statements about structuralism, and these are a bit complex things, but I think you can solve them. So structuralism spread all over the world following a rise in its importance in France. Again, A is correct. Structuralism is related to criticism in all fields of literature and art. Structuralism began in the 1960s. Structuralism tries to identify certain structures in a piece of work. So the direct responses are A and D. ठीक है, A and D. Sometimes you say देखिए A and D would be the correct responses. Structuralism might be related to all fields of literature, but is not related to criticism in all fields of literature, right? And 60s में नहीं है, उसका टाइमलाइन अलग आ जाता है. ठीक है. So it basically structuralism की बात मतलब of course people में से, ठीक है, beginning the idea was there. जैसे Saussure को ले लें, अगर हम Saussure को ले लें तो he was before it. So ACD could be a combination, is a possibility only if we don't consider Saussure and we think only structuralism. So if we don't include Saussure, तो ACD भी एक possibility हो सकती है. ठीक है, right? And दूसरी केस क्या है? ACD, इसमें एक प्रॉब्लम भी है कि 1950s में ACD वाई नॉट. ठीक है, तो 1950 से बिगैन. ठीक है, बार्थ्स और बाकी लोग लिखने लगे थे, तो इसीलिए जैसे माइथोलॉजीज 1957 में आ गया, तो ये एक बात हो सकती है. ठीक है, तो वो इसलिए उसका ए एंड वट एवर डी ऑप्शन सही था. Who said there is nothing outside the text? ये हम बहुत पहले अभी अपने थे उस पोस्ट स्ट्रक्चरलिज्म वाले वीडियो में we have discussed there is nothing outside to the text, or there is no outside text, there is nothing outside of the text. What it means that the text includes its context as well. ठीक है, जब आप कहते हैं कि टेक्स्ट के बाहर कुछ नहीं है, तो it's not about this page, it's about the context. ठीक है, text includes the context. ठीक है, टेक्स्ट इंक्लूड्स द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. आप जब कोई चीज लिख रहे हैं ना, तो उसके सोशियो पॉलिटिकल कॉन्टेक्स्ट उसके साथ आता है. तो इसीलिए कोई चीज ऐसी नहीं जो टेक्स्ट नहीं डिस्कस करता, सब कुछ उसके परव्यू में है. दिस कुड बी द आइडिया दैट इट्स कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज इन देयर. सो इंटरपोलेशन अकॉर्डिंग टू Tolle Althusser is a process one that it is a part of. Source is Marxism, सोर्स इज M.H. अब्राम्स. अगर हम सीधे सीधे इस टर्म की बात करें, उसमें बोल्ड में लिखा हुआ है. एंड थियरी आप कहीं भी पढ़ लीजिए, इंटरपोलेशन कहीं भी पढ़ सकते हैं. इंटरपोलेशन कैन बी रेड एनीवेयर. सो आप P.K. नायर भी पढ़ सकते हैं फॉर सेम. ठीक है, P.K. नायर. So we have discussed it in Marxism, so it's a bit tiring, but is a concrete individual becomes a concrete subject. तो क्या होता है ना कि आपको बोला जाता है, so you are said, you are told that you feel that all your decisions are taken by you, but there is a way in which the state, the political power makes you believe so. For example, you might be selecting a bride. Let's say in a traditional context, you are selecting a bride for yourself if you are a male, and the opposite. So those people might tend to think that only the white skinned people are, or the fairer skinned people are beautiful and the others are not. This is something which has been given to you by the dominant ideology. You might be thinking that you are selecting yourselves, but your choices are governed by some manipulation, and this is what interpellation means. Okay? It makes you a subject जिसके ऊपर आप राज चला भी रहे हैं, उसको पता भी नहीं, उसको लगता है मैं स्वतंत्र आदमी हूँ. ठीक है. क्लोज रीडिंग इज अ टर्म ऑफन यूज्ड दैट, सो इट्स बोथ इन न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म, फॉर्मलिज्म, 2-4 बोथ. तो आप जैसा फिट कर लीजिए इसको. ठीक है. चॉइस को लेके आप लोग खुद फिगर आउट करिए. मैं इतना मेहनती नहीं हूँ कि मैं आपको ठीक है. इस केस में ठीक है. सो फॉर्मलिज्म और इसके ऑफशूट्स की बात करें, पर प्राइमरी अगर रखना हो, प्राइमरी देंगे तो प्राइमरीली अगर सिंगल ऑप्शन लेना होगा तो फॉर्मलिज्म की ओर मैं जाऊंगा. ठीक है. प्राइमरीली फॉर्मलिज्म की ओर जाऊंगा क्योंकि न्यू क्रिटिसिज्म उसके बाद आ रहा है. अकॉर्डिंग टू लॉन्जाइनस व्हिच टू ऑफ द फॉलोइंग अप्लाई टू. सो लॉन्जाइनस हैज डिस्कस्ड द थ्योरी ऑफ सबलिमिटी. आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट Longinus in my I think in the very first video on criticism I discussed him, and there are 5 principles, we can say 5 principles. So noble thought, noble diction, and so on. So according to Longinus, which of the following qualities applied to great poetry? And sorry, if you look at these, something called this great poetry, so I am feeling a bit tired. A, it must be the work of a genius and inspired person, right? Right. It must cause a feeling of melancholy. No. It must employ devices of rhetoric, not necessary. He says that you have to use rhetoric consciously but wisely. Appropriate use of diction, appropriate use of figures of speech. It must employ, नहीं, जहाँ जरूरी है वहाँ employ. And it must please, it must please us. Let me check one thing. It must please selectively and on special occasion. ये बात वो नहीं कहते, तो it must cause a feeling of melancholy. ये बात accurately बैठेगी. मतलब melancholy, however, not the exact term. मैं ये बता दे रहा हूँ कि ये बात सही नहीं है ये भी, पर चूंकि ऑप्शंस इस तरीके से डिजाइंड है कि वी हैव टू कीप ए एंड बी हियर इज द आंसर बट नॉट द परफेक्ट आंसर. ठीक है. ये बात समझ लीजिए. एनटीए ने गलत टर्म यूज किया है, तो मैं इस बारे में भी बता दूं, ये परफेक्ट आंसर नहीं होगा. हाउएवर वी आर फोर्स्ड टू यूज इट बिकॉज उनका जो टर्म है ट्रांसपोर्ट यूज करते हैं. ही यूजेस ट्रांसपोर्ट. ठीक है. ये मेलांकली वर्ड नहीं है उसमें, तो मैं क्यों फर्जी बात बताऊं. लेकिन लॉन्जाइनस फिर से आ गया. सब्लिमिटी इज सर्टेन लॉफ्टीनेस एंड एक्सीलेंस. लॉफ्टीनेस जब आप देखेंगे ऑफ लैंग्वेज, ही टॉक्स अबाउट. ओके, सो दिस इज द क्वेश्चन. सॉरी, मुझे पता ही नहीं था कि मैं देखा ही नहीं. लैंग्वेज, ठीक, ऑफ लैंग्वेज सॉर्टेड. थियरी है, क्रिटिसिज्म है. जस्ट क्रिटिसिज्म का हिस्ट्री देखेंगे आपका. मैं सोर्स लिख दे रहा हूं यहाँ पे. सोर्स आप देख लीजिए. मैं ऐसे सोर्स लिख दे रहा हूँ. बी प्रसाद में लिखा हुआ है, राय एंड द्विवेदी में लिखा हुआ है. किसी भी वर्क को उठाइएगा उसमें आपको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है. Amitabh Ghosh was awarded the Gyanpith Award. These are not the questions that I really like, but in 2018, 54th, and this was repeated. I think in 2025, these questions were repeated. Something like this was repeated. Milton's Lycidas is an elegy. It's a pastoral elegy. So done. Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is told from first person point of view because he uses I and so on. And then he twins Adventures of Tom Sawyer. अब आपको क्वेश्चन इस पे भी मिल सकता है टॉम सॉयर पे, जो इसके पहले आया था, प्रीक्वल टाइप का देख सकते हैं. व्हाई इज दिस क्वेश्चन आज सिलेबस ऑफ यूनिवर्सिटीज. सो मैं इस यहाँ पे BHU लिख देता हूँ. बैक देन BA सिलेबस में हुआ करता था, आजकल का मुझे नहीं पता. ओके, सो हैव वी completed all the static questions. Now these are questions on passages and these are easy passages I think. So क्योंकि मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें कोई बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स बात पूछी जा रही है और there is something complex, but I'll take a break of 5-7 seconds just to nourish myself with a biscuit or something so that we can continue to speak, as I've been speaking for so long. We'll take just a break of 5 to 8 seconds. So I'm back. The success rate of transplants with living donors is higher than with brain dead donors. So this is a piece of writing. I think it is about something biological. So the success rate of transplants with living donors is higher than with brain dead donors. Unlike in Western countries where cadaver donor transplantation is predominant, in India there has been a rise of living liver donors. तो आपने अपने आसपास में देखा होगा, you might have seen that people are donating their livers, real living people are donating their livers, whereas because we care about our families and also in West it is more like cadaver donor. Cadaver donor means the dead person is donating the liver. So basically he or she might have signed this paper earlier and now the liver is being donated to somebody who is struggling with the liver. So living donors or liver transplant can save patients with locally advanced liver cancer and acute liver failure through deceased donor liver transplant is not suitable for though deceased donor liver transplant is not suitable for most patients, obviously. So it says that liver transplants can save patients with these things, and the dead donor liver transplant is not suitable for ज़्यादातर patients. Most people need life or living need livers from living people. Now, where we were, okay, so LDLT, which is this living donor or liver transplant, LDLT can be done as soon as a family member is found to be fit to donate a part of the liver. A part of the liver, not the whole liver. While DDLT requires waiting in India for 6 to 18 months. Dr. S.K. Sarin, Director Institution of Liver and Biliary Science. So basically biliary, it should be biliary because we say bile juice with respect to the liver and stomach. So liver and biliary science said that a deceased donor is most preferred because of the risks to a living donor, but when the requirement is for say 2000 donors, we just get 300 to 400 deceased donors. जब जरूरत ज़्यादा की है donors की तो हमें dead लोग कम मिलते हैं, तो इसीलिए हमारे केस में क्या होता है कि पहला चीज़ ये है कि भाई पहले आप चाहेंगे कि you take the liver of a dead person because it would again posit a risk for somebody who is living. So, but even with non-living donors, there are challenges. Often, even people aged 35 are obese and consume alcohol in large amounts. More than 60% of the donors are wives or mothers. This is also important. This also tells a lot about the social context, right? And I don't think you need to be that efficient to read this. It's an easy essay. As per government rule, the donor has to be a first degree relative of the recipient, that is a husband, wife, brother, sister, father, mother, son or daughter. पहला degree का होना चाहिए relative. A healthy living donor can donate up to 60% of the liver, which grows back to the normal size in 4-6 weeks. So this is also important that these cells can regenerate themselves. This is important. In North India, DDLT constitutes 3% to 4% of the transplants, while in South India it is higher at 10 to 15%. So there is so in South India, people might be more aware about this redevelopment of the liver thing, or there could be other reasons. Overall, 92% of recipients recover well, said Dr. Nirav Goyal of Apollo Hospitals. The recipient goes on long-term immunosuppressant medications, usually lifelong. So basically, immunosuppressant means your immune system tries to detect something which is a foreign object. जैसे किसी और के सेल लगाए तो foreign object जैसा ट्रीट करते हैं. Immunosuppressants क्या करते हैं कि वो आपके इम्यून रेस्पॉन्स को थोड़ा स्लो कर देते हैं अगेंस्ट दिस ऑब्जेक्ट विच हैज बीन प्लेस्ड इन योर बॉडी. Usually these people go through lifelong medications. Liver transplants do have some risk. A thrombus may form in the blood vessels during the surgical process. The liver can also be rejected by the patient's body, which means that your immunosuppressants fail, pointed out Dr. Bhushan Bhole, senior consultant, GI surgery and liver transplantation. A donated organ acts as a foreign organ and the body may not accept it. Liver failure occurs due to non-alcoholic cirrhosis, alcoholic liver diseases, both cases, and hepatitis C. Another factor is acute liver failure in short term due to hepatitis A and E, drug toxicity due to anti-TB medicines. So some people also go through the disease that we know as TB, tuberculosis. Post-transplant care involves regular blood tests and lifelong administration of medicines to prevent transplant rejection. दवा नहीं चलाएंगे तो transplant body reject कर सकती है and it may cause a lot of danger. These cost around ₹5,000 a month, but despite the need for long-term medication, regular follow-ups, liver transplant recipients have an excellent quality of life and a normal life expectancy. So basically, after a liver transplant, people live a happy life or good life, and they don't die early. More than 250 patients I know have lived 15-25 years after the transplant. Some of the little kids who were transplanted have now become doctors, lawyers and sportspersons, and got married and have children of their own, smiled Arvind Soin. Right, so this is an essay. Out of the options given, choose a suitable title. Living liver donors, cadaver liver. So it is about liver transplants. I think this would be a much more appropriate term. Now complete information को match कर diseased donor liver transplant. So I think these are the questions that you can go through, and you can also check yourself. The factual nature of these questions can be checked again and again. So 67 means, if we remember it correctly, it's this is donor liver transplant. So it is usually due to the risks to a living donor. हमने देखा कि चूंकि हम इसको ज़्यादा प्रेफर करते हैं क्योंकि लिविंग डोनर को रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहते. तो A1 okay, AL, what is AL? This could be A1 as well. A1, and then so it must be out of these two options. And DDLT is preferred mostly by okay, so an LT donor as per rules has to be a first degree relative. We just read B3 A1 and B3, so this should be the only case, and उसको मैं match कर लेना. कोई हमें कौन सा उसमें बुद्धि लगाना है. Deceased as used in the is for a cadaver donor. ठीक है, जो cadaver क्या होती है, जो लाश होती है, जो after death people's body, cadaver donor. A liver transplant becomes necessary when liver failure occurs due to so in I think acute hepatitis is case, and okay, so BC would be the most appropriate when we have to see two cases. In India, DDLT South India, no, this is wrong because we saw that 10-15% was in South India. The liver recipient usually goes on lifelong immunosuppressant. This we remember that we have discussed. In liver transplant, more than 90, yeah, correct. In LDLT, more than 60% are wives and mothers. Okay, so identify the wrong statement. Okay, wrong statement, so basically wrong. This is the wrong statement, and then A is the wrong statement. Okay. So this is I'll arise and go now and go to. Okay, so although you should not know, but it is Lake Isle of Innisfree. तो देखते ही पता चल गया, ओपनिंग लाइन से ही पता चल गया. ये तो W.B. Yeats की पोम से उठाया इन लोगों ने. ठीक है, W.B. Yeats की पोम से इन्होंने. बड़ा क्वेश्चन है. तो now and a small cabin built there of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, and a hive and live alone in the bee loud glade. And shall have some peace there, for peace come dropping slow, dropping from the wells of the morning to where the crickets sing. The midnights is all a glimmer, and now and noon a purple of the linnets water lapping with low sound. Why the road or on the pavements grey, I hear it in deep heart score. ये जो चीज है तो ऐसा लिखा जाना चाहिए था, पर एक लाइन में डालने के लिए इन लोगों ने क्या, is it question number 96 to 100, because back then we had 25 questions on mathematics and other general stuff. So coming to questions now, why does the poet wants to go to Innisfree? तो basically यहाँ आपको पढ़ के क्या लगा कि it just wants to have some peace, right? Wants to have some peace and wants to go away from this industrialized environment of cities. तो दिमाग शांति से रहे, जहाँ industrial growth. What the whales of the morning. Now we'll have to go to, okay, I don't know what slide is this, but I think if we are at question number 72, ये last 3-4 questions में से एक होगा, ठीक है, यहाँ कहीं होगा जहाँ हमारी पोम थी. ओके, अब हम इसके पहले क्वेश्चन भूल जाएं. अच्छा, मेरे दूसरे डिवाइस में भी तो है, ठीक है. वेल्स ऑफ द मॉर्निंग के ऊपर पूछा था. Okay, we'll have to read it again or what? Dropping from the morning. जो पर्दे हैं उसके, ठीक है, जो मॉर्निंग के पर्दे हैं उसके ऊपर अब बात हो रही है. नाउ कमिंग टू, यहाँ पे कोई ऐसा, अगर यहाँ पर्सोनिफिकेशन जैसी कुछ बात होती तो अलग बात है, पर उसके पर्दे तो इधर इज अ कंपैरिजन, तो इट इज अ मेटाफर. हाइपरबोली का केस है नहीं, क्योंकि वी आर कंपेयरिंग, ठीक है. सो उसको और उसके इधर फॉग इत्यादि से कंपेयर कर रहे थे. हम पूरी लाइन पढ़ेंगे, हमने पढ़ी उस वक्त, तब हमको याद है. बी लाउड ग्लेड, व्हाट डज द टर्म बी लाउड ग्लेड मीन? तो व्हेन यू रीड हियर, इट्स हियर बी लाउड ग्लेड एंड लिव अलोन इन द बी लाउड ग्लेड. जहां पे सिर्फ मधुमक्खियों का हल्ला हो, उस जगह पे ये रहना चाहते हैं, ठीक है. सो वेयर देयर इज दिस loud buzzing of the bees, I think in open nature. So this is what we need to know. And then what is the rhyme scheme of the poem? Again come back to rhyme scheme. 2-4 लाइन्स ऊपर चलने पड़ेंगे. ये बार बार लिवर ट्रांसप्लांट आ जा रहा है मेरे जीवन में, इधर मेरे जीवन में नहीं, क्वेश्चन के जीवन में, सॉरी. सो there Innisfree and because this has not been arranged, but as far as I know, the poem has been arranged. See, जब क्वेश्चन उस तरीके से लिखा रहता तो मुझे याद है, पर मुझे जहाँ तक लगता है ए बी का राइम स्कीम इसका होना चाहिए, because I had the paper, so I think it's this rhyme scheme of AB. आप मिला लीजिएगा. Small cabin made of clay and wattles, what does it resemble? So what is small cabin? It's simply a hut. क्योंकि cabin क्या है, वहाँ अपार्टमेंट तो बनवाने जाएंगे नहीं, शैंटी बनवाने, क्यूबिकल बनवाने जाएंगे नहीं, जंगल में है तो क्या करेंगे. So I think this was okay. So this is the end of the paper. 75 questions have been solved, and please remember that these questions lead you to something. When you look at the example of one author, a question on one author, go through the author's whole works. You never know what is coming. If it is about one aspect of a work, you have to know other aspects of the same work. So this is how we complete our discussion of this paper. In the next discussion, which is scheduled tomorrow, we'll discuss the 2024 paper, and we'll have covered almost all papers now. We have covered these 3, and we are supposed to discuss only the 2024 paper, and that is the only thing left to do as part of the course and as part of this free program on YouTube. So you may join the course for simply for rupees 1499, the current price of the course, and well, you can find a comprehensive course on all the aspects needed for your exam. And I'll upload more PDFs on the translation part, so that, and comparative studies part as well, so that you can feel confident. Although I know that NTA won't ask those questions, they are more interested in Indian literatures and translations of famous works, translations of literature, rather than in the theory. So, and even if it comes, it will be difficult for everybody, so the cutoff would be managed somehow. Okay, never bother about that. So we'll conclude this discussion here. Thank you everyone for joining. Right? Thank you.